So, I just got back from seeing the Amazing Digital Circus in theaters, the final act, and personally, I walked away from the theater when the credits rolled thinking it really wasn't that great. It is a good movie. I went to go see it in Cinemark. Partially the reason that I went to go see this movie in the first place is because I heard they were giving out popcorn buckets of Amazing So, part of the reason I went to go see this movie was because I heard that Cinemark, when they were playing it, they were giving out popcorn buckets of Amazing Digital Circus characters. Like, there were buckets of, like, Pomni and Jax and Kinger and Kane. And when I got there, they didn't have any. Like, they had stuff for other movies, like they had blankets for the He-Man movie that just barely released. They had t-shirts of Devil Wears Prada 2. They had stuff for like the Grogu movie. But surprisingly, nothing for Amazing Digital Circus, which was a bummer. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about the movie, so let's get into it. I'm not gonna give away too much. I'm not gonna give any spoiler footage away from this movie, mostly because Gooseworks basically she put on the screen that she wanted no pirating, no release footage of this until it's released on YouTube on this month, on the 19th. So, just because I respect Gooseworks as an artist, I'm gonna respect her wishes, but just about the movie. So the movie starts off with like this orange fish, and he's talking about how there's such a big audience that he's excited to see this movie. Usually Kane would be doing it, but Kane is dead now, and he's been dead for like, well, the fish died once for 8 minutes, and there was nothing. There was just darkness for him. So he's like, I don't think God likes me very much. That made us laugh. Like, the whole theater, like, the whole theater was filled. Like, I've been to movies so many times in that Cinemark theater where it's just been me or like 3 other people in that theater. But for this movie, like, almost the entire theater room was sold out. Like, I was almost in the very front screen having to watch the movie. But it was kind of funny, because just hearing the goldfish's joke at the beginning, that made the entire theater laugh, so that was cool. Anyway, the final act is a 2-parter. It goes from episode 8. It covers all of episode 8. Well, it starts off with Kane giving a recap of everything that's happened up till episode 8, and then it plays episode 8, and then it starts episode 9. And honestly, episode 9 was kind of depressing. How the circus usually is all colorful and stuff. Like, it's all like gray and black and gloomy, which makes sense because Kane was deleted by Kinger. That's a major spoiler if you've never seen episode 8. I'm sorry I gave that away, but episode 8's been out for like 6 months now, so if I gave that as a spoiler, shame on you. Anyway, episode 9, it kind of dives on feelings. Like, it goes into characters' backgrounds more, of like how past episodes used to be like fun and cheery and just full of life with these fun adventures that these different characters would go on. With this last episode, it kind of just dove more into an emotional level. Like, it was kind of cool. We get to focus on these characters' backgrounds. Like, we get a giant background of Jax, and we get images and scenes of him hanging out with, like, Kaufmo, the clown that had abstracted at the beginning of the series, and also the frog Ribbit. She's in this one. We get to see what made Jax, like, the terrible person that everyone seems to hate in the circus. He used to be a normal guy, but we get to see the experiences that he had with these characters and the emotions that he deals with that makes him the way he is through the rest of the series. It was kind of cool that Gooseworks waited until the end of the entire series to really reveal Jack's storyline. We get an emotional backstory of his childhood. It's really sad. And, but it is cool to see how he was originally just hanging out with people in the circus, like Ragatha and Kinger, how he was actually friends with them. It was kind of cool to see the background of his character. I like that a lot. If I'm to be honest, real quick, like, let's take it back right to the start of the Amazing Digital Circus when Pomni first joined. I wasn't a giant fan of the Amazing Digital Circus. Like, I was interested in the name of it. That's why I first clicked on it on YouTube when I saw the thumbnail and the title. And I wasn't that far behind. Like, episodes 1, 2, and 3 were already out. And the very first episode, when it ended, I was just like,
what the hell was that?
The second episode didn't really change my opinion that much about the show. They're just like, I think it's that one where they're driving a truck in a Candyland or something like that. But the third episode is really where I grew interest, when they go to that manor. And there's like those ghosts, and even Pomni gets possessed at one point. That's where I really grew like an admiration and just like grew to like Kinger as a character more than I already did. Just the way that he acted in episode 3, he really grew to be one of my favorite characters of the series. And yeah, by episode 3, that's when I grew to love the Amazing Digital Circus. And from that point on, every episode after that, I was like Googling when the next one was going to be released because I wanted to watch it as soon as possible. So, yeah, I really like the series now. So like I've been saying, this last episode, the final act of the Amazing Digital Circus, it's not your normal happy-go-lucky adventure questing episode from Gooseworks. If you're going into that, you might as well just skip going to see it in theaters and just watch it on YouTube, because it's completely the opposite. It's kind of depressing. It's kind of just a emotional episode is the best way to summarize it. Just how these characters think and what happened to them, what happened in their backgrounds. That's what this final episode focuses on, which is kind of cool, especially with how it deals with Jax and just the trauma that he went through. So that was kind of cool. Also, the message that it has is that people can change, and yeah, we go through life making mistakes. Maybe we really just mess something in someone's life up that caused them great strife in the world. But we can always change. We can be willing to accept ourselves, that we ourselves are people that need to make these changes to correct these errors in our own lives. And the people that we hurt, yes, there's a possibility that they won't accept our apology and they'll still turn us away, but there's always the possibility that they'll accept us for who we are. They know that we all think differently and they can accept us, that we're human beings. And that's really what it dives into in this final episode. Just how it deals with Jax, with Pomni, with Kane even. Kane returns. That's a big spoiler. I'm sorry, but I just have to say Kane returns. I'm not gonna say how he returns, but I'll just say he's a changed person when he comes back. So that's all for spoilers. Would I say that this was a great episode, a fun way to end the finale? It definitely ended the show completely different than what I thought it was going to. Like, for a second, I thought I didn't understand how it ended. the way that Gooseworks worked it all the way to the end, like wrapped it up. So I had to Google everything, just expressing my thoughts on how I thought it ended. And basically I was right about everything. It shocked me how they decided to end it, but at the same time I'm like, that's a pretty good ending. So all in all, I would probably give this maybe a 7 out of 10. It's not horrible, not the greatest episode of the Amazing Digital Circus, not the greatest finale for any show, but it's a fun way that the studio decided to end the series, and it's just a good watch if you're bored. It's only an hour and a half, so yeah, it won't take up too much of your time if you got nothing to do. I also do want to say real fast that the ending did make some people cry. Like, I looked out since I was sitting in the front row, and the credits rolled, I quickly stood up, and before I left the theater, I looked up and down the rows behind me, and there were some people like brushing tears from their face, and there were a couple of girls that were just going so, I guess maybe if you're like a person with a fragile heart, you might want to bring tissues for the end, but you never know. Anyway, that's what I got for you. It was a good ending. I love the Amazing Digital Circus. It's sad that it's ending. A lot of my favorite shows are endings recently, which is pretty sad. But I'll find more shows to watch. Anyway, that's what I got for you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I know that I just review video games and anime, but I've been watching Amazing Digital Circus for a long time, and since this was the finale, I just had to talk about it. Anyway, guys, please keep watching the channels. Please subscribe. Tell other people to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all I got for you. If you like this channel, please hit this link right here to see more videos. Anyway, I'll see you later.